Hello everybody, welcome back to Start McCleary Music. I'm Sean, and today we are going to talk about a cool dude who is a country dude, but at the same time he can also be a rock dude, and also sometimes he's a bluegrass dude, and that is Dwight Yoakam. We're going to talk about his history, talk about his music, talk about his best songs, talk about also his acting career, and all that good stuff. So, why don't we get started? Dwight Yoakam was born on October 23, 1956 to Ruth Ann Tibbs, who was a key punch operator, and David Yoakam, who was a gas station owner. He was born in Pikesville, Kentucky, but at a very early age his family moved to Columbus, Ohio, where he spent the rest of his childhood. While in high school, he was part of music and drama programs, often having a lead role in plays. In music, he sang and played guitar in garage bands. After graduating high school in 1974, he briefly attended Ohio State University, but dropped out and moved to LA to pursue a recording artist career. He didn't have much success in the late 70s and early 80s, as Nashville at the time did not like his style of music. After that, he moved back to LA and to work towards a new style of honky-tonk music, or quote-unquote, as he liked to call it, hillbilly music. Mostly writing his own songs, and ironically, even though Dwight was considered country, he did not perform in country venues, and most of his shows were in rock and punk rock clubs, as well as playing rock and punk rock acts. This helped him diversify his audience beyond the typical country music fans, and his authentic honky-tonk revivalism brought rock audiences closer to country music. By 1985, he was ready to record his first album with his friend Pete Anderson, who played the electric lead guitar, and as well there was other various players and various instruments in the album. His first album was called Guitars, Cadillac, etc., etc., released on March 12, 1986. The album had great critical acclaim and peaked in the US Billboard at number 61. Great songs like his most famous song, Guitars Cadillac, which is a radio and concert staple to this day. And then Johnny Horton's Honky Tonk Man, It Won't Hurt, and Bury Me. And by the way, his video, Honky Tonk Man, was the first country music video ever to be played on MTV. A year later, he was ready to record his second album. And it didn't take him long to get that album released. His second album was called Hillbilly Deluxe, released on July 7, 1987. The album also had great critical acclaim and also peaked at the US Billboard at number 55. And once again, it had tremendous awesome songs like Little Ways, Little Sisters, 1,000 Miles, and Please Please Baby. After this album, he became one of the fastest growing country stars in the 1980s. It didn't take him long to release his third album. And his third album was called Buenas Noches from a Lonely Room, released on August 2nd, 1988. The album still had acclaim, for some people considering it his best album, peaking at number 68 in the US Billboard charts. Great songs like She Wore Red Dresses, I Sang Dixies, What I Don't Know, and a duet song with his idol Buck Owens, Streets of Bakersfield. He also had a very successful concert in October of 1988, which was recorded and later released in DVD to the public. As he entered the 90s, he was already working on his fourth album. And his fourth album, once again, was called If There Was a Way, released on October 30th, 1990. He still had continued success, peaking at number 96 in the US Billboard charts, and had great songs like Turn It On, Turn Me Up, Turn Me Loose. This was a duet with Patty Loveless, Send a Message to My Heart, Nothing's Changed Here, and Sad Sad Music. After this album, he took a break from making albums, usually doing live concerts with various other country stars. And then in 1992, he recorded one of Elvis's famous songs for the movie Honeymoon in Vegas, which was one of Dwight's greatest cover songs, called Suspicious Minds. In late 1992, late 1993, he was beginning to work on his 5th album. And that album was called This Time, released on March 23rd, 1993. It was a big success with awesome critical acclaim, peaking at number 25 in the US Billboards. Fantastic songs like Pocket of the Clown, Fast as You, 1,000 Miles from Nowhere, and Ain't That Lonely Yet. He then released his first live album called Dwight Live on May 23rd, 1995, which was a concert in Warfield Theater in July 30th, 1994. It didn't take him long to release. After the live album, he began to work on his 6th album, and then his 6th album was just called Gone, released on October 31st, 1995. The album still had critical acclaim and continued with great success, peaking in the US Billboard at number 30. Great songs like That'll Be Me, Nothing, Don't Be Sad, and Heart of Stone. In 1996, he took a break from music and he was attempting to become an actor. And he appeared in the movie that was called Sling Blade, which was a very successful movie with very high critical acclaim. If you guys haven't seen that movie, I would highly recommend it if you're a Dwight Yoakam fan. He returned to music in 1997 with his 7th album, which was called Under the Cover, which was a cover album that was released on July 15th. At that same time, he released a Christmas album on August 26, 1997. That was his 8th album. However, neither album had critical acclaim like the previous albums did, but Under the Covers peaked at the Billboard at number 92. And then in 1998, he went back to writing his own songs. And then once again, this was also his I think his last album to be released in the 90s, and that was called A Long Way Home, having positive reviews and peaked at the US Billboard at number 60. Great songs like the title song, Things Changed, These Arms, and The Curse. By the end of the 1990s, he was still a popular figure in country music. As Dwight entered the new millennium, he decided to record another album, but he does not want to make it a cover album. Instead, he wants to make another album, re-recording it with his own songs. Decided to reduce it to just an acoustic guitar. And that album was called Dwight Yoakam Acoustic.net, released on May 30th of 2000, which contained 25 of his hit songs and had very positive reviews and peaked at the US Billboard at number 195. Also in 2000, he was recording another album with new songs, and his 11th album was called Tomorrow Sounds Today, released on October 31st of 2000. It had positive reviews and peaked in the US Billboard at number 68. Great songs like What Do You Know About Love, A Place to Cry, A Word of Blue, and Free to Go. He also went back to acting, and he wrote, directed, and starred in the movie South of Heaven, West of Hell, released on November 27th of 2000. However, the movie was a failure in all levels. Over 10 months later, he released a soundtrack for that movie with the same name, released on October 2nd, 2001. He appeared in a much more successful movie in 2002 that was called Panic Room, where he played as a serial killer. After that, he went back to music and released his 13th album, Population Me, on June 24th, 2003. It was well received by critics and peaked at the US Billboard at number 75. Great songs like the title song, No Such Thing, Train, Boats, and Planes, and The Back of Your Hand. He also released another cover album called Other Words on September 23rd. He took a break from recording in 2004, mainly just playing live concerts and appearing in the movie Three Way. Then he went back to recording in 2005 with his 16th album. And that album was called Blame the Vein, released on June 14th, 2005. This was the first album not to feature Pete Anderson, who left after the recording of the previous album. It still had positive reviews and peaked in the US Billboard at number 54. Great songs like the title song, Watch Out, I'll Pretend, and Doesn't Show. But however, on March 25th, 2006, Dwight's friend and idol Buck Owens has died and decided to release a cover album for his tribute. His 17th album was called Dwight Sings Buck on October 23rd, 2007. The album had positive reviews and peaked in the US Billboard at number 42. From 2008 to 2011, he did not release any albums. Instead, he mainly just did live performances at various venues. Then in 2012, Dwight went back to recording to release his 18th album, Three Pairs, which was released on September 18th of that year. It had critical acclaim and peaked in the US Billboard at number 18. Great songs like the title song, Nothing But Love, Missing Heart, and Waterfall. Then in 2013 and 2014, he once again was just mainly doing live performances with a set list mainly from his earlier albums. Once again it's in the 2010s and he's still popular. He returned to recording in 2015 and released his 19th album, just called Secondhand Heart, released on April 14th. It had critical acclaim and peaked in the US Billboard at number 18. Great songs like the title song, Believe, Liar, and The Big Time. And then by 2016, Dwight decided to take a different turn into music and he decided to go to Bluegrass. And he released his first Bluegrass album on September 23rd, 2016. Then as of 2019, Dwight Yoakam still does live performances and is an occasional actor, and he has no plans of retiring. He currently enjoys his personal life with his partner Emily Joyce, and if you guys don't know this, he also has a food brand called Bakersfield Biscuits, which has various other food products. And guys, that is Dwight Yoakam. That's all I can find of him. Throughout his career, Dwight Yoakam has been nominated for 40 awards and won 7 of them. He is still doing good today, and he is still very active in his music. And that's basically Dwight Yoakam. And if you guys do like country and you guys want to have like more older country with a more rockabilly mix, this is the guy for you. He's a pretty cool dude, and I do like his style, so I'll give him an A-. I mean, I do like him. He's probably one of my favorite country stars. So guys, that's all I have to say, and if you would hit that subscribe button for more bands and for more singer-songwriters. Anyways, guys, I'm Start McCleary Music. Thanks for watching. Peace.